our Economic Development Committee meeting for Tuesday, September 2nd. Now in order.
I like that echo. When you hit that, I could hear the metal underneath.
Yeah. Maybe the teeth rattle.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have any? Oh, wait, we'd like to, roll call.
Davis here.
Joseph here.
Morrison here.
Oh, Fowler here.
Okay. Full house.
Yeah,
And, okay, and then public comment?
There is no one for public comment in the room, and online, no one is online.
I'll be
So no
missing,
public comment.
planning commission.
That was just the one.
Oh, that was just.
I think
the
that
one.
was just a special
Oh, okay.
time.
I thought he was sitting in every meeting.
So then,
Additions to the.
additions to the agenda packet. So Robert, you brought a couple of things that
Yeah,
I see and
yeah, I'm late as always.
okay, so because we have to have them submitted in
I know.
advance, so, and, but if there's. I think we can, so neighborhood association, how to make PM Hill.
These were made up, this is because back in 2023, YNA was basically heading up the issue of trying to get the city as a historical area.
Okay,
I'm trying to get the individual buildings,
Okay.
and when I ran into the issue, when I had the Parks and Recreation from the state of Oregon come and walk with me and Sue, we found out that individual buildings would not be possible because of the structures have changed so drastically.
yes,
So
okay,
they suggested that we do the entire city
okay, so,
as one.
okay,
And that's the outline that I was given by the
okay,
state.
great, okay. All right, so we can hold on to that, and I think that's definitely jives with
Yeah.
things, so we'll,
Gotcha.
we can set this aside and just do this as like.
To include on this, or do we wanna put is it gonna be correlated with an agenda item is what?
Let's see here.
Did we do
It seems like, okay, so the survey, I would say no. No, not necessarily that. Okay, so the agenda, like from our today's agenda, sorry, I was thinking about
What I'm asking is if you wanna add something to the agenda so we can address those.
authentic EM Hill. Well, I think because today we're gonna review our codes and design standards and review kind of like discuss sample codes. I think maybe this for next time would be better. Is that cool too?
I don't care.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay,
I just brought it along.
thank you.
Yeah,
Alrighty. Unfinished business.
so I have my information from my 3 businesses that I talked
Okay,
to.
so that's new business.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I also have,
Okay, so we'll move on to new
Yeah.
business then. So there's no unfinished
and I
business.
have my outlines for the Economic Development Committee meeting that was first established January 7th, 2024.
Okay,
None of them were published and none of them were in digital form. And all of them have been recorded. So, and I hesitate to produce the recordings because they
because
were
you did this
very,
without asking for
yeah.
permission.
And,
So-
and besides that, you know, there is a lot of information that really isn't privy to.
Okay, yeah, so I think that that's,
But my notes are, I have 2 months of notes. I have one for January 7th, 2024, and one for February 11th, 2024. If you want me to just expound on those.
I was at those meetings too, and I think where we're going now is I think we can just kind of keep
Yeah,
forging ahead.
yep,
So,
okay.
and then, unless anybody has any urgent need to hear those, so, okay, thank you, Robert. So, new business, so. Authentic Hill, so where we were last time is we had our task and I was unsuccessful in my outreach, but I did do some research. So as far as what we had talked about, we talked about getting, finding out from commercial, other businesses, what they would like to see. And then also, so we can review that. And then we can go into the sample code. So first, let's talk about authentic campus. So Robert, would you like to go? share with
Yeah,
our-
well, like I
who you
said,
talked to?
I had talked to Bellwether Insurance, I've talked to T&E, and I've talked to
Larson House.
Larson
All
House,
right,
yes, thank
great.
you.
So what
Yeah,
did they
so-
say?
Well, Bellwether, Larson House, and T&E, both, basically, I asked them all the same three questions the same way.
Mhm.
The first question was, what is it that as a business owner, longevity wise, you've been in this city for quite a while, what business would you see would help our city grow and bring in foot traffic and basically re-energize our city that used to support a stagecoach that doesn't anymore with 5 hotels? And all of them pretty much said the same thing. Well, maybe,
Uh-huh.
well, so, well, we know what we don't want, and I said, well, okay, that was gonna be
Okay,
my
good
second
start.
question, but let's
Alright.
get back to the first. And finally, Bellwether says, you know, I can't think of anything that our town needs. She says, but there's a lot of things it doesn't need. And I said, okay, so tell me what it doesn't need. Well, the same thing happened with Bob Landauer.
Okay.
Bob thought that maybe, I'm sorry, Bellwether also said what we need, is another real estate company.
We do.
We do.
Okay.
She
Okay.
said the real estate company, except for during the time of COVID,
Uh-huh.
which is why it
Uh-huh.
failed and went away,
Okay.
is because, not only because of COVID and the lack of being interpersonal, but she says the manager of the real estate company basically retired,
Mhm.
and that's why it went away.
Okay.
So, Teeny basically said, well, yeah, I know what we don't need. So he says, but I'll save that. He says, well, he says, all I can think of is maybe another antique store like RD Steve's. He says, here's what antiques do. He says, antiques bring foot traffic. People coming to look at antiques, which brings foot traffic, which brings people to the store, which brings people into the city. And he says, that was a good thing, especially when RD Steve's was here.
Yeah.
He says, because of his amount of furniture that he brought from Europe, he says it brought a lot of foot traffic into our city. He says, other than that, he says, I can't think of anything else. Heidi, however, she had a different opinion, and couldn't drag out anything that she could think of that would help our city grow. I did mention to all three of these people that at one time I was talking with an entrepreneur who was willing to take the lot of where the gas station was built and put in a farm supply. And all of them agreed that would be a good thing,
Okay.
you know, so, but that was just my opinion and what I thought might work, but
Okay.
but everybody on the second question, I asked what in the city they didn't want. And he says, well, we don't need another gas station. And we don't need, and Bellwether was very emphatic about this. We don't need any more stinking homes. In fact, and I won't go into what she said, but basically it was
Oh,
keep
neighborhoods.
the people away from building our town to what it isn't or what it shouldn't be
Mhm.
because of the infrastructure, because of the people, because of the change. You know,
Mhm.
that's basically what Bob Landauer said. We don't need another gas station, but we got one, and it wasn't what the city thought they were going to get, nor the residents, you know, with the windows that were asked to add, but they wanted uh, uh, reflective, you know, which
Mhm.
fooled a lot of people. And he said they boarded up the other side of the window so you couldn't see in.
Okay.
You know, other things like that. He says it wasn't quite what the city envisioned, but, and the third and final question was, because Yam Hill used to be a stage stop from Portland to the coast and did have 5 hotels at one time and a lot of traffic and a lot of people. What is it that you see the look and feel of Yam Hill should be? And Bellwether couldn't come up with an idea. Bob Landauer did though, and he said that what Sisters has done should be done here. He says there's also a place on the coast that also followed Sisters' lead in developing its infrastructure, its housings, its businesses, and he says, that's what Yam Hill should be doing. He says, one thing that Bellwether said is we don't want to become a Carlton with the wineries.
Mhm.
Bob says, but having wineries and having that kind of thing brings foot traffic and brings people. So he says, Carlton's got a leg up on us. He says, we used to be more involved and had better events than Carlton, and Carlton has just went way past us. Anyway, so that's about it for those 3 people. So not a lot of help. It's mostly what we already knew in a different form, you know,
Uh-huh.
but, you know,
Okay.
that's
Thank
it.
you. All right.
I got somewhat of the same, with Robert. I couldn't get an owner to call me back on either one of them.
Mhm.
I talked to a bar manager at, Fireside, and I talked to an employee
Mhm.
at the Mexican restaurant. And, the 3 questions I asked was, do they enjoy doing business here?
Oh, that's good.
What, you know, if we were to plan a commercial of the city of Yamhill, what would that be? And then what other businesses would they like to see here, not pertaining to their business?
Mhm.
The bar manager was more helpful, and like in theory, I should be getting a call from the owner of the Fireside Grill.
Okay.
But it's been a few days and I do not have that currently, so.
Mhm.
She was very emphatic that they very much enjoy doing business here. She didn't have a giant or general opinion of the commercial. She thought it was a really cute and fun idea.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately didn't have a good idea. And when I kind of proposed, because she made it seem as if she knew the owners personally, not like she was answering for them, but very much like, oh yeah, like she very much wondered on the last 2 questions what their answers would be.
Mhm.
So I think there's interest in something new and different for the city of Yamhill.
Mhm.
I don't know what that is. I was just gonna say, so a side note, I would agree with what Robert was saying, or the other business owners were saying, like with Carlton. I go through Sisters a good amount. I really like going to Bend. Sisters is an interesting place
Right.
with how if you don't know the real estate at Sisters, it's like incredibly expensive to live in and around the area now.
Yeah.
And they've parlayed that. Well, expense is probably the wrong word, but that real estate idea. And then having that first stop before Bend, and they've done a great job with their downtown, and they have a bigger commercial district, I think, than we do. In terms of it being more of like 2 or 3 streets that
Oh,
are
yeah.
commercial. I love the sisters idea. In terms of Carlton, I think they just. Doesn't help, we don't have a park that's situated in the middle of our downtown,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Cause like, and then that pool is a drawings, all those things are drawing things. I think Carlton is set up really well, but like. How would we set up Yamhill that way is a real, or not even mimicking, but like. How do you set it up that way? I'm not sure. I do think, and that would be the pushback I would have with the other business owners, is I don't know, I don't think we need to like jump all in on wineries. But if we're going to make it a tourism-based town, like tourism and agriculture, right, because we can be both.
Mhm.
I think you do have to, like, how do you get people to travel there? We get people to travel here because of the wine or because of because of the area.
And it is agriculture.
And it's very much lacking, and I would say Carlton's lacking it as well, a hotel or hotels or things like that.
Mhm.
And I don't know where you put it, I don't know how you do it, but like you could draw in the wineries that way.
Mhm.
You know, with saying, hey, you're people that travel from all over the country or all over the world. Have no place to stay here besides Airbnbs,
Mhm.
right? Like, how do we fix that?
So
And-
one thing we do know. They have to go through Yamhill. To
Yeah.
get to Carlton
100%, or McMinnville,
or McMinnville.
Yeah.
So most people go through Yamhill to get to Carlton.
Mhm.
So
and I
all
would
we have to
venture,
do is find them a reason to stop.
well, and I venture to say, whatever the main drag up is, I never remember, 240 or what,
240.
240.
Yeah.
And then going out to Gaston, you're gonna find more, I mean, I'd have to do a little bit of research, you're gonna find more. Going towards Newburgh and going towards Gaston of wineries that are accessible.
Absolutely.
Than you are gonna go towards Carlton or
Yeah.
towards
Oh,
McMinnville.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing, like, I don't think this is let's tell the planet, let's tell whoever it is, like, we need to attract hotels. But like, there is a lack, there is a need, and you're right, this could be a stopover, especially if you're coming from Portland.
Yes. So with the hotel, you know, that the ground and Frank Bodie, you know, that,
Yeah.
that, you know, fell through with them putting in the hotel in Carlton, but that's the,
2 hotels.
yeah, so the side straddling the
Yeah.
road, and so, you know. There's somebody who wants to put in a hotel
Yeah,
around here.
there's a
you know?
need, I mean,
Yeah,
there's like,
there's a need.
there's a need, and especially if we continue. The realm of Willamette Valley or whoever you wanna, whomever that entire thing is, I feel like
Mhm.
it's like everybody has their own.
Mhm.
Marketing agency now, but it's like,
Yes.
there's a need, otherwise they're just going to McMinnville.
Right,
Which is fine,
yeah,
but like, we're in the city of Yamhill, and you gotta drive through, you're exactly right, you gotta drive through bus to get to there.
yeah.
So who else were you able to talk to?
That was-
besides Travis?
That was, I had just the Mexican
Oh,
restaurant.
Fireside.
Yeah, I had Fireside, and yeah, and
I forgot.
and those are the only 2, and I didn't get really much anyway, and I tried a couple of times, it was just like, I couldn't get anybody to give me a call back, so.
Yeah,
I physically walked,
well, I showed up in person.
yeah, I walked I tried to see if the owners or anybody was around or when they showed up, and it was. Kind of this nonchalant answer, so I walked in there a few times, it was just like, hey, and finally got a bar manager to talk to me.
Yeah,
So I failed with a recent discussion, but with Mary who owns, the antique shop mall thing now. I talked to her, earlier in the summer. And so I was gone all last week, so I have excuses now. For not- So like today, and then the holidays, so I was.
Did you
gonna try
read
to
your
go-
song at Yamhill?
I did, I read
Okay.
that night after.
Okay,
Did read that. But as far as talking with, so Walt and, the insurance people, they weren't in when I was back in town, and so. But talking to Mary, it kind of got a little bit diverted more about, Water. So anyway, so that, I don't know that necessarily she was the best, person to talk to, but yes, exactly.
Yeah, Mary's got her own
Yes,
agenda,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, but I think that, with the points that you've raised, so looking at, I mean, I don't want to jump ahead here, but the design standards too, this is some of the stuff that I was reviewing and I have notes on from other towns and what they've done. There's some things that kind of definitely we could, as a starting point.
I was going
Yeah.
to print off I forgot what city it is, but another city's, building code plan, but it was 27 pages.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I'll just save that and
Yeah.
I'll just send it to each of you and you guys can review it. And if you want it in the agenda for next month, you can.
Yeah, so is there anything else, do you have anything to add, like any people that have provided their insights or?
I'm at the city all the time, so I hear a lot of things.
Yes.
First, I want to just point of information with the no building of houses, as someone who is on a committee for the city. The city can't say no. If we have land that's available to build, we can't tell them no.
Yeah,
I mean, unless there's some reason that we can't, and
I
there's
already
not
know that.
a reason that's
but
valid,
I don't think
we
the
would get
city.
sued.
I don't-
So if you're going out and people are coming at you with these things, that'd be a great time to educate them that you understand that cities can't say no to building. If we could, we would be on it. We feel the same way too.
And
So,
I think that should be a point made for the whole city. Maybe put on Facebook
yeah, but also when you're talking to people and you hear
But
somebody say
absolutely.
something wrong, maybe
Yeah.
say, hey,
and.
just so you understand how it's, why they're making these decisions. They're not really making the decisions, they just,
And that's the point I
Yeah.
told Bellwether when she said no more housing. I said,
Oh.
you can't stop the building.
okay.
I said,
didn't
you know.
realize. You were just saying the one side of it here in this meeting, so I didn't hear
Absolutely.
what you were saying.
Yeah.
I have a question about, so with the building, so with the review though, the land, what was the thing that was done a couple months ago, where it was reviewed the available lands inventory building. So is that completed now? Like, does that?
That is completed. There is a new comprehensive plan, which I need to add, thanks for reminding me. I have to put that on the website. But there is very little buildable land left in Yamhill, just a little bit off of Olive and then like a few.
Okay,
places here
yeah.
For homes,
For homes.
Okay.
Yeah, so then,
Yes.
so it's.
Yes,
so-
and
so I
then,
think that
Unless it expands, which would be
and if my
years down
memories,
the road,
Yes,
and
there's
if
not
my,
gonna be too many more houses.
and if my memory serves me, it's 38 acres. And the planning commission or the council decided to table the extending of the, I forgot the word.
UGB.
The urban growth boundary. They decided to table the urban growth boundary.
They're not moving forward with that
Right.
at this time.
Right.
That's not to say that somebody else can't, and I just know that from being in planning
Right.
commissions.
Right.
Someone, private party could come in and say, I'm going to do all the
Absolutely.
work to expand your urban growth boundary
Oh,
and pay for it, so.
is that how that works? Sorry, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's my understanding
Okay.
from planning commission meetings is that it can be done, the city doesn't have to be the only one to initiate it, somebody else could. But they're putting in the funds to do that.
would that be like somebody buys a bunch of property and then they say, okay, we're gonna expand?
Yeah, somebody buys 100 acres somehow and says, I'm building homes on
Forwards it
this.
to them.
Yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah, to make
Okay,
that.
cool.
It
I mean,
seems like,
how do you get through like water rights and things like that? Good question.
What do you mean water rights?
Like, how would you just expand? Like, how
They're
would you?
expanding the incorporated city of Yamhill.
Oh,
So the
okay,
boundary of just the city.
Gotcha.
So there's a whole nice 7148 that's outside of the incorporated city of Yamhill. And those are county lands, so that's separate from the incorporated
That's
city
the
that we
urban
handle.
gotcha.
decisions for.
Right.
Right. But back onto the side, sorry, went off track a little bit. I like the hotel idea. I think if people don't want wineries, We don't have to have wineries or tasting rooms, but having a place for people to stay is definitely something that's necessary.
Yeah.
And I know with the parks master plan, they've been talking about baseball fields, maybe to bring in, you know, bring in money, and if people are coming from, you know, far away and maybe they want to stay for the night rather than travel here 2 hours to get to a baseball field or whatnot, that would be great. As far as the design standards though, I don't know, are we looking at what we want the buildings to look like, right? So if they were to apply and provide us plans today, what would we want that to look like? We want it to be very specified for the planning commission. And so, I mean, like, just looking out the window and picking. I like the Larson, I like the look of the Larson house, I like the look of the Berkshire Hathaway, which is the brick old insurance or real estate. I feel like the ones in the middle represent still the same, still Yamhill to me, there just needs some updating. But if we can narrow it down to wood and brick and pick the kind of brick and or the color of the brick and the wood, the way it should look, those are kind of something that I
That's
would say
primarily what
I would wanna model it after.
all three of my people said, wood,
Yeah.
not brick, not
Well,
really
we
brick.
have one brick building in that
Yeah.
block. That's a nice building down there,
Right.
not cinder block, I mean, the city hall's
Right.
not great,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
but,
Cinder
Or
block.
stucco.
well, that's two, but yeah.
So with our objectives, so this is what I want to make sure I'm clear on, because with the recommendations, so our goal is to come up with recommendations for the planning commission for what our standards, our design standards,
Mhm.
right? And so, so I'm wondering the degree of detail. So this is where I was started to kind of like go around a little bit, because you start thinking about like, you know, I know we've discussed sisters or like Leavenworth that you sent, that it's highly specific and not realistic for what we've got here, because we have an eclectic assortment of existing buildings. And so it's how do you, I think we have to address both restoration of current buildings, and if somebody were to buy, say, the brick building that's for sale, we would want to make sure that they would not tear that down, you know, because it's an historic building. And the same with, you know, T&E or just whatever, it's like what to, you know, so those that have significance. Anyway, so when I was looking up with a little bit of AI support, I'm like, all right, city design codes for small towns in Oregon. I was thinking about Dallas. I was thinking about Independence, Dayton a little bit. So I was trying to think of like other towns and
And
like what
Dayton
they've
just got a
done.
hotel.
Oh,
Yeah, Dayton just got a hotel.
Just now, yeah.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, something
Oh,
like that,
awesome.
or
Like
maybe a month
approval.
ago, but yeah,
Oh,
total,
good,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So the purpose, so some things that I found, and I would be happy to pull this up on my computer if that's possible, or we can just talk through it and then we can share it, but it was really interesting. So it's like, okay, so the purpose to preserve historic character, promote pedestrian-friendly development, and ensure architectural cohesion in the downtown core. I liked that. And then I know with that transportation grant and part of that, the desire, you know, for safety and for walkability. So I think, so if we could think about like the overall like purpose, like our overreaching goal is we want to preserve the character, promote the pedestrian-friendly development, have cohesion, and then if there's new structures, then have it flow. And so some themes that came up: historic context, sense of place, agricultural heritage, pedestrian-friendly outdoor spaces with like, what do they like called, cafe seating, you know, where it's pedestrian-friendly, where it's more like, and this is why I'm wondering with our code, currently I think it's currently showing just like it has to be like right up to the sidewalk with new construction.
It is a 0 foot setback.
Yeah, and so looking at what some of these other towns, and then Milwaukee, Oregon, have you guys been to Milwaukee lately?
No.
Oh my gosh, so that came up as an example. I was there for a work meeting 2 weeks ago, and I'm going back next week for, it's amazing, and they're part of the Oregon Main Street Network too, so that's what's kind of cool too, to see about towns that are, working on all of this. It's so quaint and interesting and trees, and you want to like walk around, and it's just, the flow is great. So that was kind of fun. Okay, so then they talked about architectural compatibility and contrast. So when I hear that, I think, okay, so for new construction, compatibility, contrast, so it's not like, you think like Sisters, that it is just, I just think of all these like beige, Western,
Yeah.
beige,
Yeah.
yeah. So preserve original facades, windows and architectural details where feasible, so if somebody, if we're gonna like encourage like existing buildings to get through stuff. Ground floor transparent windows, at least 60% street facing. Do we currently have that in our codes? But I thought that term transparent ground floor windows. So again, this is like to encourage like walking, pedestrian
walk
friendly.
around.
And so our gas station mini mart, that's not transparent window, that
Yeah.
is.
In the other city hall.
Yeah. And then Northwest architectural traditions was another like theme, and so you start to look at that, and so. Cause
I'm assuming we don't, if they
Okay.
don't have transparent windows.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
So these are little words and stuff that's like, ooh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And so then as far as like the process too, so this is where I'm wondering where we are now with our planning commission and the steps for review. So I know that we updated things where if it's track one, like if somebody wants to either redo something or build something new, some of these towns, they've got different track. One, if it's administrative review with, it's just very objective standards. Like I think we've got that now, right? Where you can just, if it's
Yes.
fits.
Mhm.
And then track two for planning commission review for discretionary design standards. So that's where it's like, okay, it's not just like a check the box. It's more like, okay, somebody maybe wants to build a new coffee shop and they have the planning, the ideas that they want, and it has to then come to the planning commission for review and approval. And so, and then design advisory committee. So then that's where it's like, all right, so if we want to get like nitpicky about colors and things like that, like, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because you start to think about like, do we want it just to be neutral? Do we want to encourage people to invest and put their blood, sweat and tears into something? And so you don't want everything to be cookie cutter. So then is it
Yeah,
like,
that's rough. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to figure out, like, cause you're thinking,
To do like earth tones.
yeah,
Or something.
oh, there was like
that keeps
muted.
it from, muted.
Muted, so there's
Yeah.
some verbiage that's in there, like preferred, but then it's like, all right, so maybe we do have a committee, design advisory committee, and I know some people who would really like to be on that, people I've talked to.
When I think of design and color and everything, I
Uh-huh.
still think of Larson House.
Oh,
And
yeah,
how nice
it's
that
beautiful,
staining and that
yeah,
it just made a world of difference in that building.
visible from public streets should prevent a brick masonry and wood appearance.
So it
Okay.
already does have the brick being
Yeah.
wood.
Okay.
The thing is they're,
How did that get around?
Hmm?
How did that get around?
it's brick.
It's
Oh,
all brick.
gotcha. Okay, sure.
So we
Because
did,
we're not specifying the brick.
Into what kind of brick? Yeah, sure.
like
Yeah.
cinder block brick.
Is a
Cinder
brick.
block first, and they have the other bricks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the
Okay.
facade of
You know,
it.
and that is something that the planning added, was
Yeah.
the edging of and the bricks around the poles by the gas pumps.
Mhm.
Those were added during the planning commission,
Yeah.
but they had a lot of trouble with the vagueness of, it's kind of vague, which is good, which, makes it easier for people to build, but then
Yeah.
it's,
But then is it like, so
that's
then,
what we're trying to get into is the.
Yeah,
how can
my
we
only
make
issue
it
with,
clear for the planning commission, so they can be like, this is absolutely doesn't fit, because when they did the gas station, the guy took pictures of Google Earth and said, here's your bank, here's your city hall, here's your, so he picked 4 places that have brick
yeah,
and did a brick frontage.
yeah,
So what we didn't stipulate in that is how much wood, how much brick, how much concrete, how much, we didn't specify any of that in this line. It's just, like she said, it's open-ended.
Mhm.
But it's a 1900 style.
Yeah.
storefront.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, my only issues with color is like that cute little area that you were like, this would be a bakery, right? Well, so like right over here, wherever that is, you know what I mean? If, you work to change the awning and you made it a blue and you made this all like baby blue with some color, right?
Yeah,
That looks different than the rest of that facade. But like, it can still be done in that 19, like, the color thing gets weird to me too, because when you're like, well, you can't, everything's gray, will just be gray, or, you know what I mean? Like, how do you not let a business owner figure out their colors?
yeah.
But then you also don't want a purple building, right? Like you don't want like right in the middle of everything,
So
you don't
maybe
want
that's
that.
The term muted, but like the
Yeah.
Mexican restaurant,
It's
bright
yellow, yeah.
It's a party, you know what I mean? It fits with the
Yeah,
style of the
Restaurant.
yeah, It's just a-
and
yeah,
then the
the-
reddishness of the Larson house and
yeah,
so these, and then with the agricultural stuff, I can pull this up, but it's like when it's, agricultural heritage and, I think that that's important for us, we got the historic, the old stagecoachy stuff, the historic, but it's kind of, a combination, and I think that the ag part, and, I feel really strongly about, steel siding, like the Quonset, like the R.D. Steve's building,
Corrugated metal.
corrugated metal,
Yeah.
Cause that's what our plan is, and, but we're gonna have like, wood in the front stuff, but it's like our greenery buildings
Yeah.
around, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's the idea, it's like
Yeah.
that sort of a just, a.
yeah, and I think the
subdued-
granary buildings would look great if they were updated. Like
Yeah.
if they were like, whether it's
Oh.
grants, whatever that is, but like, if you updated a granary building,
Yeah.
you'd be like, this is cool, this looks great. It's
Like-
just
Like in
that,
Carlton
it-
at the,
yeah.
the
Really?
areas.
Yeah.
like, that's the part, that's the like sad part of being an old town, right? Like
Mhm.
of being in the older town where it's like, but if you don't invest, the business owners per se, if they're not investing in like making the building nicer, right? It just it's just what it is.
Mhm.
But it's like everybody loves the Larson House. Well, when was the Larson House built? Comparatively.
Yeah, like reading.
Outside street.
Yeah, like when was,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like that was, but I think that could be all it requires too, is just this like,
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Uplift.
If all these buildings weren't here, where would we start? Where would we want to
Oh,
put
yeah.
one? Because there's a whole side of the street that has vacant places. That eventually they're gonna get sold and somebody's gonna wanna build, so we wanna get it set in place,
Yeah.
that this is we want the future. And then if they're changing something, then they have to update it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm,
Yeah.
I love the muted colors, or I love yeah, it's just interesting.
So, yeah, I think with like the term, because I don't think we're gonna have like swatches and, full on.
No,
Like, like, here's our colors, here's the roof, but I think like generally, like, like roof lines, materials, not like some modern, high, reflective steel,
Yeah.
like super, and I think that if we think about going back to the purpose of like economic growth and businesses and foot traffic and making it a welcoming downtown, then what does that look like? And so a lot of these examples, which I will now look on my computer, was like, so you have like front door areas, kind of like we've got at well,
So setback to where
Yeah,
you
like-
can have a seating.
yeah, setbacks, you have seating, and then there's protection, so you're covered if you wanna have, like a overhang or something to protect. So if it's raining and
Put a
pedestrians
couple of
wanna.
tables out,
Yeah.
your chair.
Yeah, and then that will draw, if you wanna like have people stop coming through,
Yep.
and with our design there for the coffee shop. So first we had like this pulled back for cafe seating. And then when I read the codes, and it's like, oh crap, we gotta have it like, pardon me, oh dear, we have to have it like on the sidewalk, you know?
Yeah.
So like, okay, well, scooch it
Directly
up.
on the
But
sidewalk.
then when I was reading then what these other towns with the idea to enhance, you know, development of, or excuse me, pedestrian
You can still
friendly.
ask for a variance.
Yeah, but then, so it's like, so we're a bit now back to just pull back a little bit, because then it's like, you know, you're riding your bike by or you're driving by and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a place to stop, and like, it'd be so, you know, fun to be able to.
So what does McMinnville do on Third Street? They close the whole
Close
Third
Third
Street for a weekend.
They don't have any rules, they just put tables on the sidewalk.
Yes,
They
they
didn't
do.
really set back the buildings are all 0 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
But they set.
Oh,
tables.
shoot.
But they, yeah,
We have
but they set
equal
tables out and they
sidewalk.
close the street
Yes.
for a weekend, yeah.
All my searching
Yeah.
without Wi-Fi, it went away. Darn it, let me see if I can,
City guest is
see if I can.
capital C City 963. I don't have a number.
It was really exciting to be like searching, it was just like, oh yeah, and then it's like, you could just kind of start like a template for what you want to do and like pull from ideas from the
Yeah.
town's codes that.
So you
are-
can we can either send what we don't want to the planning commission or what we do want. But either way, we're going to have to be,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to stipulate. And it's going to have to be a bunch of no's or a bunch of yays
Yeah,
in order to keep the brick, like the gas station from being totally brick. You know, there's hardly any wood, if any,
Yeah.
in that gas station at
Yeah.
all.
yeah.
To me, it doesn't fit.
Casper,
I have another question.
some of the guests.
It's city with a capital C. I would have to go, I can't, let me turn off the TV and then I can pull it up. I don't want to pull up the passwords to everything.
Okay,
Sorry. Um, You guys can continue.
I just have a random question that you can probably multitask over there as you look up the Wi-Fi password. The city, what is the idea for parks in our city?
Good question. We are
Okay.
currently working on a city park master plan.
Okay,
We've had one meeting and then the engineers have taken it and are working on their plan. And I know there will be city involved meetings in that when we do master plans, they involve, you know, all the citizens.
yeah,
And so from that first meeting, we had about 4 different people that all had different ideas. I've heard baseball fields, I've heard updating Beulah with that. Dog park, fenced dog park, those type of things. I don't know specifically if there's anything about. I mean, basically it will be the plan to
Gotcha.
implement for the parks, so it's just
Sure.
starting and it should be, you know, happening soon, and then we'll have a
It's-
good idea of what our plans are, and then be able to gain grants for those plans that we have in place.
Is that community square, public square idea part of that?
So.
No.
I was thinking Losley Park.
Oh,
where's the Losley Park?
We don't have one.
Oh,
good idea.
But I mean, I
yeah, I
also
mean,
have
to me, I'd
Kingsley Park
bulldoze
too.
that building right over there too, and I'd make the entire thing. I guess that's what I'm asking
It's
is,
all owned by somebody else.
Wouldn't that old building look good
yes.
as a hotel?
I'm good with that too. Yeah, I bring that up only to ask. What I see other towns that I really like Sisters, I'm gonna mention Forest Grove, because if you haven't been to the
Oh, I
Forest
love-
Grove Farmers Market,
Yes.
you are tragically missing out. Here's the weird thing about Forest Grove that I don't understand. I'm in McMinnville all the time, it's my business. I go to McMinnville's Farmers Market. I know people there. I'm gonna say it's fine. It is big, it is grown, which is wonderful, but it is never packed full of people, ever. I go to the farmer's market in Forest Grove because I love it there. And
Oh,
and
thank
it
you.
is quote unquote, wall to wall people. They have 16 less thousand people in that city than McMinnville has. I don't know what they're doing, but they have figured out how to rally around their downtown for their community. And I don't think it's a mimicking thing, because I think that's the whole thing of Yamhill, right? We like all of these things, and we wanna see if we can attempt to pull all the things we like, right,
Yeah.
and then create our own.
Yep.
But what we don't have, cause nothing against Beulah. Beulah is just, I know it sounds weird, it's, I don't think of it as downtown, right? I don't think of it, even though it's a walk, it's not
It's more
far,
like
I walk
neighborhood.
all the time, yes. Yeah, and we don't have that. It's not a meeting place, that's the wrong word, but like, which one?
Forest Grove? Is
Yeah.
it- Or Pacific University?
Yeah, I think it's Pacific University.
Well,
But they shut the street down. And again, I think whatever, if we were to think of parks and whether it's baseball or farmers markets or whatever. I think what Carlton has done well is kept their traditions going. Like the Carlton Crush, I think they do a car thing as well, and like a few others that get people to come out because it happens all the time. Right, and I think we only really have like Derby days here, right? And it's just. I don't think we have enough community involvement because of it. And maybe it's because we don't have a place we can put everybody, right? And we can't shut down this main street, but we don't really shut down other streets here. I mean, right, like, and we don't do anything yearly, whatever it is. So I don't know, yeah, if it involves the parks or if we're gonna like soup up, I don't even know what that park's name is, but.
Jane
the-
Heinrichs.
Are we gonna like soup up Jane Heinrichs where it's more of that fun meeting and it's, cause obviously I love, cause I have dogs, I
Yeah,
love the walkway, like
isn't it
it's
nice?
great. But yeah, I just don't know, it seems to me, and I know this is off subject, it seems to me. As us being the Economic Development Committee is somehow saying we need to find a way to have community involvement here.
And that is part of the Yamhill Downtown Association goal as well. And that's kind of like one of our things, like, okay, what is it, what can we do? Because that's part of our
Yeah,
thing, that we want to partner.
yeah, but there is a
Yeah.
difference though, like if you went to, you live in McMinnville, right?
Mhm.
If you go to the McMinnville Farms, it's fine, it is great.
No, you keep crossing the street.
But yeah, crossing the street sucks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's never, and have you been to the Forest Grove one?
I haven't.
Okay, you have to, it's Wednesdays, it's wonderful, it's in the evening, I think it's from like 4 to 8, 5 to 8, something like that. It is awesome, it not only, and I have no idea if their businesses are pissed or not, but they shut the street down. You can go use the sidewalk still, it is lined with businesses and restaurants, and it is lined with vendors, and they go right into Pacific. To take over more things, but it's set up incredibly well and it is packed full of people. I mean, absolutely packed.
Also, they're getting, Hillsborough and Bates and, surrounding
Yeah.
Washington, closer to Forest Grove,
Yeah.
surrounding.
Yeah.
But it is, that's a beautiful area.
Yeah,
Out there?
it was just interesting to me. They had, like, I didn't realize it until I passed it a week ago that their population is 20,000 people, like. And I think they're doing a better job than other cities that we have near us. So anyway, yeah.
I'm looking it up now.
I'm part of security for Indivisible in Forest Grove. And this past weekend, or this past Monday, we had an event. And there was 165 people. But for the Floyd protest, there was 600 people underneath that flag on that wedge.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
600 people. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
no, that's wild.
And to me, that's elbow to elbow.
Oh, yeah,
And that's how many people come out in Forest Grove.
yeah.
But I don't think you'll ever see that kind of turnout here in Yamhill. And I just keep thinking of what I keep hearing is people that move here don't want to be bothered because they lived other places where they were inundated with this, that, and the other
Absolutely.
thing, and they want to just be left alone.
Yes. Yeah, we want to give them the choice to do that.
Yeah, so I've got some of these code things. I don't know if we want to hook it up there, if we're running close to time, if we should maybe make like a plan for a work session or something,
Sure.
because I feel like we've got lots to discuss. And I want to say one more thing with these, like the levels of like the tracks and like the context and how you think about things. But what the Oregon Main Street organization and for the revitalization grant that the YDA, got, and that's so all these Oregon Main Street communities are trying to like flow with this. It's the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation. So that's several of the towns, like they kind of start with that as a backbone. So that's like a nationwide thing, but that's for if there's a building that's old to like restore it. So there's things about that. And then other things that they mention too is then just like new construction, having it fit with, have that architectural cohesion. And so if you reference that, and I can send out that thing, or we can look it up next time, but that is kind of like a good sort of like starting like point A. It's like, all right, if you're thinking about places that we do have, and then how you kind of fit the vibe. But with I don't know how best to deal with this, but I went through in this search, I said downtown design codes. And then it started with, okay, like historic building modifications. So then there's like Oregon City, 3-tier, national standards, Secretary of the Interior, city-specific guidelines, material-specific recommendations, and then design advisory meeting. So it's kind of like you work through. There's design standards for new construction. So Milwaukee guidelines include reinforcing sense of place and horticultural heritage, but I would think like our
Agricultural, yeah.
architectural compatibility and contrast, pedestrian friendly elements like corner doors, outdoor spaces, and barrier-free design. I don't know what that means exactly. Florence, I was in Florence for a work meeting also, like both these towns, like a couple weeks ago. So in their Main Street and Old Town districts, they have architectural design standards there, and then they talk about historic context, human scale, again, that term for like pedestrian friendly and like user friendly things. Medford had the track 1, track 2, like I mentioned before. So, okay, so downtown guideline proposal. So, and this is like the purpose to preserve historic character, promote pedestrian friendly development, and ensure architectural cohesion in the downtown core. And then have design intent and vision. So then it's like, all right, reinforce the town's unique identity through architecture, streetscape, and signage. Encourage adaptive reuse of historic buildings while allowing compatible new construction. Promote walkability, accessibility, and community gathering spaces. And then new construction guidelines, then we're getting a little more specific about new buildings must reflect the scale, rhythm, and proportions of adjacent historic structures. Use materials such as brick, wood, or fiber cement siding with muted natural tones. I thought that kind of like muted natural tones was like, okay, so then you can still have like,
Yeah.
if you really love purple, then my God, just keep
It's
it
a
like,
pastel purple.
yeah, flat or gabled roofs, facade articulation. This is one, require vertical and horizontal modulation every 20 to 30 feet. So I guess that's just to avoid having somebody who's put in a big monolith.
Big monolith, yeah.
Ground floors must include transparent windows covering at least 60% of street facing facades. Corner treatments, pedestrian oriented design, street interface, encourage recessed entries, awnings, and weather protection. Require pedestrian scale lighting and street furniture. accessibility, curb ramps, so that's like public realm activation, promote outdoor dining, pop-up markets, community events. Require landscaping with native plants and stormwater friendly design. So I think that ties in with our tree desires that we've got. So kind of, anyways, and there's signage, review process, so. Anyway, historical, architecture character, historical character. Cohesive streetscapes, site design, so anyway, those are kind of like the themes, and so I think we can like work up a checklist or something.
Yeah, that we
you know,
can present to the
topic.
planning commission.
Yeah, and design for pedestrian experience. I just think that's super important and enhance the public realm, which ties to what you're talking about
Yeah.
with like
And
Carlton.
I think with that, the design for public experience, I think that we need help with that.
Yeah.
Because we don't. While we have a don'ts of no homes, gas stations, and maybe wineries, we don't also have a lot of options of different businesses that would help the public experience,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're not a shopping town, right? We're not like anything of that nature. So I think those would go hand in hand of like really trying to figure out what businesses would fit really well here and how do we draw them in?
Is there something in the requirements for downtown businesses that need to have like public hours? Do you know that? Is that
Downtown business.
like having like open for like a regulation where if you're on a floor level downtown building, you have to have
Like a display of hours?
or be open, like have like a reason for, instead of just like, it's just a warehouse that's, like let's say a building that's nearby that is a commercial building in a prime spot, but then it's not used commercially or not used as a, open to the public, like a service or a retail or a restaurant, like all the
Yeah,
things. It
I
seems
don't
like
think
there's,
we have anything in there that says people have to
okay.
There's a
commit
restriction
opening the
for,
store.
there's a
Yeah.
restriction on lighting. For
Mhm.
they have to turn off their lights.
That's the opposite of what she's trying
Yeah,
to do.
yeah,
is
but
keep
that's
it-
the only restriction that I can think of.
And that has not passed yet.
So yeah, do we wanna schedule a work meeting, a workshop, whatever it's called?
I think that would be great, so then we
Work
could
session.
just.
Work session, so we're able to
So we
just
can, like,
go,
hammer
hey,
this
and I think
stuff
you're right, I think there's things here's the recommendations, here are like the non-negotiables.
Yep.
Here are the everybody wants,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I
Yeah.
think we can go here to the planning committee and be like, here, this is what our recommendations are, you wanted it, this is what this is.
Mhm.
Right.
And you can't put no gas stations.
Can we get like,
Can we?
Yeah, Portland has it in their
Okay.
downtown area, no
Okay.
gas stations. So
Okay.
we can say, or limit it to two.
Yeah.
what's the giant park's name again?
Heinrich,
Heinrich.
Jane Heinrich.
Jane Heinrich Park, I'll just remember Heinrich. So can we get like the wineries to donate like, can we do something fun? Like, it would be rad, and I have no idea how you do it or care, but like we're known for hazelnuts and prunes now all of a sudden, like, can we go prune, hazelnut, prune, like, I have no idea if they grow well together, but like around the park, right? Or around part of the park, or, I mean, cause I'm assuming we don't have any money for anything, which is okay.
Hopefully in the master plan, they include like how they're gonna upgrade the park.
Some
But
cash
if you're talking
somewhere,
about
yeah.
fruit trees, you're gonna have to worry about bees and
Yeah.
you're gonna have to worry about care, so the public.
Could we get
works-
ornamental fruit trees?
Mental fruit.
Yeah, or like the ones that don't really grow fruit, but they're the same tree.
I think we should have like whatever's local.
Yeah.
Native trees.
Yeah. We love native
You
trees.
should be on the tree committee.
I'm not gonna be on the tree, I don't even know there's a tree committee, why is there a tree committee? I love this, yeah,
I know they're working hard to get them in downtown, and
Yeah.
yes, we'd love to see trees at other
Oh my
places, but the parks master plan will kind of put it out, this is what everybody in town wants.
Cool.
And with that, it should help with the funding of grants, because we have hey, we reached out to everybody, we have a plan, this is what we want to implement. We have SDCs for parks that are, ready to spend, so.
But we can get
have a
like,
plan to spend them.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we can get like businesses and such to donate as well, right? Like the school got the sign by Fody or whatever, right? Like we're able to like solicit those things, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
and we've had, even when they were talking about baseball fields, they were talking about have people donate the fencing and then
Yeah.
just put a sign on it saying,
100%.
or if you go to.
Yeah, offsetting some costs.
Yeah, bricks, everybody buys a family brick
Yeah,
and you can
love
put it in the sidewalk there.
Yeah, it just won't be a cinder block brick,
So,
not those,
Not-
yeah.
so with our last YDA meeting too, so I was sharing what we were talking about here. I was sharing the information about like the transportation grant or just the review, walkability, trees, all that. And it's like this slowdown. So we were discussing like, all right, how can the YDA, get on board with this? With like, because we've got overlapping goals and objectives. And the trees, themes that came through was slow down, like you want people to slow down for both the safety of the kids. Or slow down to enjoy Yam Hill, you know what I mean?
You sound
Trees,
like
kids, like,
great.
oh my gosh, like.
The
come
road,
on.
the road to
I need like a
McMinnville
flag.
that way, yeah, the way you run. She is like, we're putting bumps in, and I was
Yeah.
like, who's putting bumps
I
in?
know.
How do we do that?
The
Yeah.
cover of night.
Ask people, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't,
Yeah.
okay.
But I think like the focus, so like YDA fundraising, because we're trying to like put together like, okay, what are we raising money for besides the Christmas lights, you know what I mean? Like, so we're doing that, but also I think to partner with the city and efforts, it's like trees for downtown. And so that YDA can get behind that and then try to get people like, because we're putting together this like pitch of here's what the YDA is for. It's not just Beverly Cleary, like once a year thing, but it's like really we're focused, we're trying to improve downtown and partner with the city. And so I think that it all is this nice compatible theme that for the kids, for the community, pedestrian friendly, make it better.
Yeah.
Slow down. So anyway, so we
Slow
want,
down.
then, yeah, and
I just look
so.
out in front of cars, that's what I.
Oh.
To take that first step and show intent, I learned this from the police officer.
Yeah.
You have
Okay.
to show intent to cross the street more than just stand on the curb, so I always take a big step.
Okay, that's good.
It's nice with dogs. People stop when I have dogs.
Aw.
They sometimes will just go by if I'm running. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm running. You're good.
So,
So I'd like to make a suggestion.
yes,
If we decide and when we decide on our work session, we should have it far enough out where the work session in itself can be advertised for the community to attend and make public comments regarding what it is that we're going to be working over, which is the look and feel of Yam Hill.
That would be a town hall rather than a work session.
Yes.
So a town hall would be more work, having people from town come in to gather their input, and then the work session would be a deep dive into the subject matter. So
Do people come in for a town hall? The answer could be no, that's okay. Yeah, like,
no, yeah.
we had a couple, I think, since only one that I recall advertising, and that was when we had a city administrator gentleman that was.
But why couldn't we just
Maybe a
advertise?
handful, 20 people, the caucus maybe had.
Oh,
40
right.
people.
Well, why couldn't we just put out there that the Economic Development Committee is looking for comments during their work session about,
I think the work session, what I want to do is be able to like get the computer out, hammer out framework.
mhm.
And so if that comes after we get community input, but I think it might be best to hammer out some framework. So otherwise, we're gonna end up with the same comments as you got from Bob and, like the same.
well, but we'll get a consensus as to
Yes,
Is it wood? Is it brick?
I
Is
think
it
we-
stone?
yes.
You know, yeah, is it going to be trees? Is it the park? Is it businesses? You know, you're going to get a good consensus if anybody shows up, which they may not.
I'd like to at least have our filter through and then map out what it is we want to, like the framework of what we're gonna try to present to, who they will present to the planning commission. So us, we first,
Yeah, we get
You're
the
gonna leave out
framework
the
and
community altogether.
no, and then we can get the community.
yeah,
input.
so basically like, hey, we
Step
built
one
off
is
of a
we-
framework. And we figure out what the framework is and then have the town hall and
Yeah.
say, do you all agree with this framework? Do you wanna add anything? Do you wanna subtract anything?
Yeah,
But at least instead of it being, cause I do understand that part, instead of it being like, all right, we fictitiously 20 people. We would like your input on this and then getting 20 different ideas and then us having to pick.
Mm.
Cause that sounds like anarchy.
yeah,
Where I think this is where it's like, all right, the three of us talked to business owners, we laid this out. Does this look, does the public actually like this, or do you want all steel buildings everywhere? You know, like,
yeah, yeah,
Cause if you really wanna know what in a roundtable of businesses and city council members and other members who sat in here. I can't remember the guy's name, Angie, it wasn't Rush Schultz,
Doug Rucks.
Doug's Rucks.
Okay.
And he had 2 or maybe 3 whiteboards where he wrote like 50 items.
We have that on the website. Yeah,
There's so much work into this website when people.
you've got it, yeah, we've got the notes, we've got the community
Yeah.
Yeah.
input, what we'll do, so work session, we can pull that up, cause
Cool.
that work has been done.
Yep.
We will go through examples of towns that we like, we can have,
And I'll pull the information about the one that Bob Landauer says is on the coast.
okay,
yeah, I mean, why don't you pick, sorry, why don't we make it eat, like you pick 2, I'll pick 2, Bob picks 2,
Yeah.
right? And you
Yeah.
just you get to pick 2 too, sorry, yeah. But yeah, but like, let's come to that and say, and not stating your case, just what's the 2 or 3 things they do really well?
sure.
Where do you think they're doing, like, cause I got nothing against Independence, but I've driven through Independence a bunch.
uh-huh,
I don't think I think Independence is us. Like,
yeah,
I don't think Independence is a good thing besides them having more restaurants and the river that runs
Yeah,
next to it.
yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, sure, yeah,
it's-
and I was just trying to like get examples. when I was
Yeah.
doing my chat.
Yeah.
Like, okay, how are they putting this together? What, do
Exactly.
they have design standards, not, because I think some, like our town doesn't have the design standards, but we've got codes, right? So we wanna like crank it up a notch or whatever our, I couldn't.
and
Yes.
when do you want the work meeting? That work for you guys? You wanna pick 2 towns that we wanna,
No, that's-
I wrote on mine 2 towns to mimic,
Yeah.
even though it's not mimicking.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you like Milwaukee, I would love to know more about
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
yeah, so, and yeah, and what I, in my informal discussions with people too about this, it's like, yeah, we wanna. I would like to see, I suggest having it where you have really like welcome, interesting, creative input. Like I was in Carlton yesterday at lunchtime and looking down, it's like, yes, it's nice there, like the buildings, the park is excellent, but there's also I like the eclecticness of Yamhill, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's what we've got.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
One thing I like about Carlton is the lighting that they have on the sidewalks. The lighting they have
Oh, the
above the
posts.
sidewalks,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the trees. To me, that makes a downtown aesthetically pleasing and gives shade and greenery.
yeah, the trees are nice.
Oh, yeah, the trees are.
I think that
definitely
those wind up lights, those look cheesy. They should not have them year round.
nice. Yeah, well,
Because it's like,
but they do draw attention.
I know, but I think like in the trees is better and not that. This is sometimes kind of,
Yeah.
anyway, but this is our work session. We can discuss it. So. So. as
Can't
far
be
as-
the week of the 21st to the 27th because I'm going camping.
Ooh, You
I'll
know,
be on the coast at Nahalem Bay.
Oh,
that's right by
nice.
my wife's family is in the Halo.
So anytime before or anytime after?
If we're keeping the Tuesdays work well for me, if we're gonna keep like a long.
Tuesdays are good for me too.
Yeah, I mean, 7th, 14th, or you're back on the 27th, right, or 28th? Does any of those work for you?
September, we're talking
No,
September?
We're in September.
Yeah, September 9th to September 16th.
Okay,
Oh, were we talking this month still?
well, just like as soon as we can have a work
Gotcha.
session.
That's what I was thinking,
But I have to go to Denver the week of the 15th.
the week of the 15th.
Yeah, not to be the true pain.
So it either has to be the 9th or the 30th, and I don't care, I mean.
And I can't do the 9th because I'm gonna be back in Milwaukee for another meeting.
Bill Day,
So
walk
I'll take pictures.
Yeah.
It sounds like the 30th?
Yeah, 30th or the 7th.
That's
I
a week.
can't do the 30th,
Yeah, or-
23rd.
Don't know when it's at.
This is good. See,
think
I
it's
was
28th.
shooting for October. I appreciate all of you guys going September, but my September's a nightmare.
Okay,
23rd is when I'm camping, remember?
okay, all right, so
21st
now we have to
22nd.
look
Of September.
into,
Yep,
Okay,
all right,
October? That's 14th, 21st?
yeah, you're not doing anything in October, right?
nope,
Yeah. And my October's real much nicer than my September. My
Well, the
September's
seventh
good.
would be the
14th sounds good
normal
to me.
date.
Yeah,
okay, let's
You
just
just wanna
make
have
that a work session.
work session. What's that mean? 7th?
The seventh.
October
Normal
7th.
date.
Well, that's our normal. economic-
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. And then the next day, if anybody's interested, Oregon Main Street Annual Conference is in Albany. We're going, like YDA's going.
Oh,
but-
they have a cute little downtown.
They
Yes,
do.
yeah, and so
Carousel.
there's all these workshops and things too at that Oregon Main Street thing. And I think it's
So-
open to anybody if you want to register and
So
go.
we're
Sorry,
taking
go
our
ahead.
economic development meeting at 3 PM and changing it to a work session, is that the
Yes.
deal?
Okay, can I?
How many hours?
I was just
2
gonna
hours?
say, yeah, 2 hours, you'll 3 to
Yeah.
5,
Yeah,
okay. Leave a note for myself.
Work session.
okay. All right,
Okay, is there anything else? I'm gonna assume, I'm gonna still try to grab the two businesses that I'm still trying to get to.
oh, yeah.
But
Oh,
is
I will too.
there anything else that we want to? We're gonna bring 2 towns we wanna mimic or whatever it is, to steal from. Is there anything else we want to have? For walking into the work session? Does that make sense? Is there any homework else we need to do?
I think I can have a template ready.
Okay,
I'll have a template.
okay,
I think the 2 towns is
yeah, I think
Going
it's
to be-
great,
going to be a lot.
Okay.
Because it's going to bring new information into our meeting.
Yeah, and I did find that, yeah, like searching for how they're describing, so just gotta dig in.
verbiage is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the verbiage,
And
yeah,
that's what's tricky, then I think that's tricky for. Well, that's the key, I guess, yeah, verbiage.
yeah, cause there has to be like some vagueness and yet some hard line, like. No, we want 2x4s made in Yemen, I mean, not
Yeah,
that, but
right,
yeah,
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay, so.
we were lumber as well, if any, we're still on, strong again, Mill, let me tell you.
Oh,
Lumber,
yeah.
prunes,
Yep,
I'm on horses,
Okay,
I'm almost out of all of our copies now.
yeah, you
oh,
are.
okay.
Yeah.
Like hotcakes.
Okay, and then, so back to just the agenda then, so I think we'll have to like table some of this, but
Yeah,
the beautification and then the branding and vision for the YDA, I think it really is like, I guess we didn't do branding, but the visioning is, I have verbiage on that, but it really, like,
Well,
it's pretty
and
much.
Oh, it's the
all
day
this.
after, I was gonna say bring it the day after, but it's the day after is your Albany thing.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, anyway, okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn the
motion
meeting?
to adjourn.
Second,
Second the motion.
okay, so I'm gonna hit this, I'm gonna say our meeting.
You're adjourned.
Sweet.